Okay, good morning. Thank you all for attending this webinar. I'm Andrew, and I'll be demonstrating the MyPAYE payroll system for you. It should last about 20 to 30 minutes. I'll give a brief overview on how the system works and how you can use the software on a regular basis. Okay, so let's begin. So this screen you're seeing at the moment, this is the home screen. So when you log into the software, this is what you'll see. From this screen, you'll have immediate access to doing the next payroll period and the last payroll period that you processed as well. So on the left, I've got a monthly and a weekly payroll in this data. So I can run the next month, which is month 4, or I can run the next week, which is week 15. And on the right, I've got the last month and the last week as well. So I can rerun month 3 and I can rerun week 14. So if I click on the rerun button, it will take me back to that pay period as it was with all the details that were saved from before. And if you need to, you can make any changes, make any corrections, resubmit anything to like the revenue, and then start the next month when you're ready. If you do need to go back to an earlier period than the last one you can see from this screen, you can also go to Tools, Rollback Payroll, and that will let you pick a period even earlier than the last one, and you can roll it back to that period. But bear in mind, if you do roll it back, you'll have to do that period and then every period after that until you've caught up to where you was. You can't just go back to one period and then skip right back to the current period again. You have to do every period again. So with that in mind, I'll begin by just going into the next month just to show you how the basic processing will work. So I'll go and run month 4. It will then display all my employees who are in the monthly payroll. So I can click on them and their default wages will be displayed in the middle. So I can then edit these earnings by pressing the button to edit them and add more if I need to. So I'll just change this one person's monthly salary this time, and I can say if it's just this change is going to be for this period only, or if it'll apply to the next one as well. So if I say this in future periods, it'll remember that rate for next time as well, just to make it a bit easier next time if it's a permanent thing going forward. You can create new employees from the create button at the top if any new starters will be in this month, or if I click on employee and view and highlight them, I can then edit any details I need to on the employee, so their basic details, name, address, postcode, national insurance number, all that such. And then there are other menus to edit more things for them, to apply sick pay and maternity pay, things like that, previous employment details, pension details, attachment of earnings. All their different details can be found in here, including payroll benefits as well. So if you want to payroll benefits, you can go in there and enter any benefits that they might have. So on this one, I've just got that they're getting some private medical insurance as a benefit. But you can pick from all the basic P11D benefits types here and then just fill in the boxes and they'll calculate the values each pay period for you. So you work your way down your list of employees, filling in the boxes, filling in the wages. Once you have filled in their details, if I click on Run Payroll, it asks you to confirm the pay date and if you want to include any messages on the payslip. So I'm just going to continue. It takes me to the pay summary screen where it gives me a breakdown of the earnings and the deductions and pension contributions and all those details. You can print a more detailed version by going print and then pay summary. So you can save that as a PDF or send it to your printer. You can post these details to the revenue post RTI. That'll do an FPS submission for you. There's a pensions button as well. So depending on who the pension provider is for the company, most of them are in a file that you export and you would then upload it to your pension provider's website. There's a few that have a direct link, so you can actually just submit it direct to them. Like you would do an FPS submission to HMRC, you can do a submission directly to the pension provider. You can export the reports and you can email the reports to someone else, like your clients, for example. But once you're done there, if you click finish, it'll take you back to the home screen. where my next period is now run month 5, and on the right it's changed to rerun month 4. So if I realise later on I've made a mistake, if I just click on rerun month 4, I'm brought back to the screen where everything is as entered, so I can then edit whatever I need to, and then just click rerun again. It'll take you back to the pay summary screen. So if you have made any changes, it's then important to post it to HMRC again, so it overwrites what they had last time, and then they'll then have the correct figures that are in this modified period. So we'll go click finish again, go back, and it's the same for any other payroll period. So that was a monthly payroll I just did. So if I click on run week 15, it's the same thing. You get your list of employees, you put in their values, run payroll, and I'll get a pay summary for the weekly payroll, then submit that to HMRC, do the pensions and any reports and pay slips. Just click finish, and it takes you back to the home screen again. So the pay slips, there are 3 ways you can give pay slips to employees. You can set it to print, where you would just print the pay slips and hand it to them. There's an email option. So you put the email address on each employee record, and then at the end, in the pay summary screen, you press the pay slips button and you can email all the pay slips out to the employees. You can also set it so that it goes to one person instead. So if you are managing a company for someone else, you can set the email to the manager of that company, send all pay slips to that one email address, and then that person could then be responsible for distributing it out to the employees themselves. Another option is there's a payroll portal, which is like a login for each employee. They can log in and they'll have access to any pay slips that you've processed for them. So every pay period, when you've run it and you've done the pay slips, they'll then be able to log in and just look at the pay slip in their own time as and when they need to. You can send an email reminder out as well to let them know that the pay slips are ready to be viewed. Okay, so other things you can put on them are like an attachment of earnings as well. So if I just go back into there, pick an employee. So you've got an attachment screen. You can add all your basic kind of types of attachment of earnings. You put the dates and any reference numbers you have for them. Just quickly fill in these boxes. Yeah, so you just making up some values, but you just fill in all the boxes that you need to, depending on what kind of attachment of earning it is. It'll be different what needs to be filled in. And then you just got attachment of earnings and all the relevant details to them. And again, they just calculate every period just like a P11D benefit would. But kind of the opposite way around, this will take money off them. So that'll show in the deductions part of the report. So if you do manage multiple payrolls, so I've got monthly and weekly here, you can create more than one user of the software, and you can set different users to have different access. So they could either have specific companies, and within those companies, they could even have specific payroll. So one person could be in charge of doing the monthly payroll, and another person could be in charge of doing the weekly payroll. Or you could have like 5 companies under one user, and another 5 companies under a different user entirely. So you can split a different amount of companies between users, or you can just have multiple users who have full access to everything, so they can have all the companies and access to all the payrolls as well. There's timesheets and expenses as well. So at the top here, I've got a timesheets and expenses button. So in here, the way this works is the employees can have a login again. So similar to how they'd log in to get their pay slips, they can also log in and fill in a timesheet or an expense claim form. So I'll just go in a quick one that I created as a sample. So they'd come in, they'd fill in, their start times, their end times for the week for each day that they've worked. They can set up multiple different things as well, different projects, or if you've got people on the move, you can specify if they've worked in different locations, overtime rules and things like that. And once they filled in their time sheet, they can submit it for approval, which when you come in here, you'll see it here to display, and then you can approve it. And then when you're in the pay period, there's a button just to bring in any approved timesheets and expense claims, and that will just automatically fill in the boxes for you based on the hours and things that they filled in, and then you just run the payroll, and it saves you filling in all the different values because the employees will have submitted their timesheets of all their hours, and it'll just pick up the rate saved on the employees. There's CIS functions as well, which can be enabled. So there's two ways to do the CIS. There's one way where you can just fill in the values to go in an EPS submission. There'll be a box for CIS deductions suffered, and you just fill in the value for the month, and that'll be reclaimable. Another way is similar to how you can see employees on the left. You can also create subcontractors who will show here. You fill in the values that were paid to them in the week or the month and run the payroll, and then all those values will get totaled up and calculated, and they'll automatically be put in the CIS deductions suffered for you, and then they'll just be submitted as part of the EPS. So you can either just do it as a value to put in for the month, or you can do it as actually putting the subcontractors in there, similar to how you would employees, and actually putting in all the values manually so that they can be calculated at the end of the month. So I've only got one company here that I've gone through, but if you have multiple companies, you'll have a list in the top right that you can just switch between any companies that you need to. If I go to my home screen, there's an overview page where it'll list all the companies you've got access to. You can see what the next period is, if it's been started or not, if it's been submitted yet or not. You can click the go to button just to go directly to that company, and then you can start working on the month and weeklies there. There's also a function for automating the payroll, which is called automate. So the way that works is you go in here, you specify what companies can be automated, you tick them to be automated, and it'll ask you what you want to be done automatically. So you can tick what you actually want it to do on its own. So you can say run payroll, you can specify what date it'll run on, you can specify if it'll email you the reports, if it'll do the pay slips, and if it'll do the FPS for you and the pension contribution. So if you tick all of them and you put it on a specific date, the way it works is on that date in the morning, it will calculate the payroll based on all the figures that are just in there already. Later on, it will then email you the reports, so you can check those and see if they look okay. If everything's fine, you don't need to do anything, and then later on, again, it will then email the pay slips out on its own to the employees, or upload it to the portal, or just send you a copy of the pay slips, depending on how you run the pay slips. And then again, if there's no changes made, it will then just do the submission to HMRC at the end of the day. So you don't need to do anything if you've got everything ticked. If everyone's salaried and they get the same value every week or every month, you can just tick to run it on its own. You'll just get emailed the details of what it's going to do, and then it'll just do it at the date specified, and you don't really need to do anything to intervene with that unless there's the odd employee who has the odd change in their salary. You can go in and just change them and then leave it to do the rest. So yeah, that's how the automate works. Yeah, so from the top menu, from the home screen, there's a few other menus to go in as well. The employer menu is where you set up all the basic things for the company, general settings and options and kind of default things you want to save. You can have pay types, so there's quite a few default pay types, so like hours worked, overtime, time and a half, things like that, but you can create your own pay types to apply to the employees if businesses have their own kind of unique pay types. You can set up the different pension schemes, auto-enrollment pension schemes, company pension schemes, salary sacrifice, things like that. You can set up bank details as well. So at the end of every pay period, you can create a text file which is suitable for most banks in the UK to upload to, and then you can just upload that to your bank and process that. It's like a BACS file. The find button, that will let you search for any employee. So if you've got many different payrolls of hundreds of employees, it might just be quicker if you go and find employee and search by the first name, last name, reference number, or the national insurance number if you want to just quickly go to an employee and make some changes. Users menu is where you set up and manage users. You can create new payrolls or new companies from the create menu. HMRC comms is where you would go to do your EPS submission or do any resubmissions, like resubmitting your FPS or verifying national insurance numbers, submitting your P11D return if you do the P11D and benefits. A reports menu is where you can go back and view like the pay summary from previous periods. You can go all the way back to the first period if you need to, and earlier tax years if you've been using it for more than 1 year. And there are a few different reports in there as well, like the P11 form, the statutory P32 return, pension deductions, the employee listing, just some basic reports. Payroll data is a tab that records all the calculations. So if you need to just check what the rates are for the year, you go in here and it'll show you the rates. So these aren't anything that you change. These are just for your reference, so you know like what the tax rate is, what the emergency tax code is, what the national insurance levels are, the sick pay rates and things like that. Then the tools menu is where you've got a few more advanced functions in the software, like doing the rollback. You can import employees. So if you've got a list of employees in a Excel file, you can import them in one go rather than creating employees one by one. You can import earnings as well. So if you do that, it creates an Excel file with all the employees on it. And you can specify what pay types are the columns. So you could have one column which is the basic rate, one column which is holiday pay, one column which is overtime. And then you'll have an Excel file with all rows of employees and then columns of rates. And you fill in what they've earned under those columns, and then you can import that back in, and it will just fill it in for the payroll period for you. So it saves you going down the list one by one. If you've got hundreds of employees, you can just import it all from an Excel spreadsheet instead. You can import passwords, so like payslip passwords. So the way payslip passwords works and other document passwords is you can set it so that it emails the employee a randomly generated password, and they'll have to make note of that. Or you can set it so they'll get a link where they can set their own password. Or if you fill in a spreadsheet full of passwords, you can then import that for all the employees as well. You can import holiday records, similar to how you'd import their earnings. You can transfer employees if you do like a 2P transfer between companies, or you can transfer employees from the monthly payroll to the weekly payroll, for example, if they're going to be paid weekly instead of monthly now. So I won't go through every last thing in here, but yeah, you can delete payrolls, delete employees if needs be. It's very rare you need to do things like that. Migrate the scheme to a new scheme, migrate pension schemes, things like that. In the top right, you've got a help area as well. So if you go in there, you can create and log tickets with the support team. So you can get a record of all your previous queries, and it's where you can, if you got any questions, you go in there, log a ticket. It'll get sent to me and the other members of the support team, and yeah, we'll be able to see that, answer your queries, and send you the answer right back. So that's all the basic points of the system mentioned, really. All the menus gone through at the top, all the basic things it can do, how it would work. So yeah, there's a few minutes left. If anyone's got any quick, simple questions, if you write it out in the Q&A section, I should be able to answer any simple questions. If there's more detailed questions you've got, they might be best if they email to us at customerservices@mypaye.co. I'll just put that email in the chat so people have it. If they do have any more in-depth questions, they might want to go through at a later time, or they just need any more information on it. If you send us an email at that email address, we can get back to you with any information you need. If anyone needs any clarification, anything that I've gone over, if there's anything I'm unsure of, just let me know now, and I can probably just quickly go through anything again in more detail if need be. One thing I forgot to mention, actually, yeah, there's a few integrations with account softwares. Like we run liquid accounts as well, so there's an integration into the account software. And the way that works is once you've processed the payroll, you can then download a journal into the accounts, and it'll have all the nominal codes already filled in with the relevant values. The cost is dependent on how many companies and how many employees you have. So again, if you send how many companies you're in and how many employees you have to that email address, someone should be able to get back to you with a more accurate cost to how many, depending on how many employees you've got. There is a trial version of the software, so you can go to the website at any point and fill in the details, because you can set up whatever you need to free of charge. The only thing you won't be able to do is the actually processing and submitting it to HMRC. So yeah, you can kind of create a trial version if you need to. Again, with the amount of employees, I'm not sure if there's an unlimited one or not. I'm not sure what the maximum rates are. Colin, who is on this, might be able to reply with that. If not, again, I can probably get someone to email you the details, and if there's an unlimited company one and an unlimited employee one. Yeah, so Colin's just sent the link to register for the free trial, so you can go to that link and create a login, and you can use it as basic as it can be in the free trial. Like I said, the only thing you won't be able to do is submit the details to HMRC and actually process like pay slips, but you can go in there and create some sample employees and like a monthly or weekly sample payroll, and go in there and just see how it works and have a play around with it yourself. You can also use the help function as well, even if you're in a trial. So if you are in there playing around with it and seeing what it does, you can send us any questions from the help menu at the top if you're unsure of anything while you're using it as well. Yeah, again, so yeah, costing questions are better sent to the email address I put through. Colin might be able to answer some there, but yeah, like I said, with yeah, so he's just mentioned about different rates there. So yeah, if you can if you email us in how many companies and how many employees you think you'll be doing about, we can give you a breakdown of how the different levels work, because it's all dependent on how many employees are processed each month. Okay, so if no one has any further questions, yeah, it's come up to about 30 minutes now, so it's probably all we've got time for now. But yeah, if you make note of that email address I put in the chat, feel free to get back to us with any questions you may have. Feel free to go and register for a free trial as well, and you can also ask questions in the trial software. We can get back to you in there as well. I'd like to thank everyone who's turned up and attending. It's appreciated, and yeah, I hope you've all found this webinar informative and you've learned what you needed from it, and we look forward to hearing from you further. So I wish everyone a good day. I'm just going to end the webinar now.